Hello there. Our brush tonight is my Century setting rubber. It's a vintage shaving brush that I put a 2-band Badger knot in. We're going to set it in my scuttle and let the bristles soak up some water and warm it up. And the soap tonight is I'm going to use Modern Williams again, but I'm going to use Modern Williams in a different sort of way. I have a container of Modern Williams here on my counter. You can see I tried to get that out of this container, but I've used this so much that the puck is super hydrated, and it's been a couple days since I shaved with it, and it's still super hydrated. And I cannot get that to come out of the bottom, out of this container. It's glued to the bottom. It won't come out. So I had to get a new puck, because what I want to do is I want to try something on camera that a friend of mine, Gino Sonier, does with Williams, and that is he uses it like a shaving stick. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some Modern Williams, let the water get warm, shouldn't take long, and I'm going to wet my face and wet this puck just simply, and we're going to go ahead and try it. And I'm just holding the puck like this, if you can't see, and rubbing the side of the edge of the puck on my face. So how the heck are you? Give it a little more water. We are well. Alright, and what I'll do is I'll set that puck up here and just let it dry real good. And just in a couple of days when I know that it's good and dry, let me rinse my hands, because Williams is nothing if it ain't slick. And but in a couple of days, when it's good and dry, I'll put it back in that box. So anyway, I was asking how everybody was. I hope that you guys are all doing well. We are doing well. It's been cold as crud for the last 2 or 3 days. And last night, and well, night before was even colder than last night. But last night, they said it was supposed to drop down to 28. But I'm not quite sure, I'm not quite confident that we got that far. Now I'm going to work this really good, because this is Williams mug soap, and it is a vintage type mug soap, although this is the modern stuff. And needs to be worked a bit, in my opinion. And this might fade a bit on my face because I've not done this. And so it's not the same thing as when I lather in a bowl or face lather in another type of way. But the razor we're going to use tonight is my Gem Micromatic. I just picked this up at a thrift store for like $5, and it's in perfect condition. This is one of two that I have. This is a chrome version, And this is the brass version, the different years. And it's a TTO single edge. It has a carbon steel blade from CVS, but it is a Gem Blue Star carbon steel blade. So lovely. Lather's looking good. And if you look at this, it's an open comb razor, and it's got quite a lot of blade reveal or blade extension. I would say to you not to be afraid of that. Everybody has their own idea of aggressive versus mild. I tend to pull the handle down on the razor and get more of a straight on cut because I like the shade that it gives, but a lot of guys online have said that that makes the razor too aggressive for them, and so they like to hold it more closer to the face. One of the things that I've discovered over the years is that is one of the wonderful things about traditional shaving, is that you can control or adjust the aggressiveness by the angle at which you introduce the blade to your face with a straight razor. Even you can. The thing about any of them, straight razor or DE or SE, the more straight on that blade is to your face, the less shaves you'll get out of the blade. Straight razor, single edge, double edge, either one, doesn't matter. You are presenting that blade to your face in a way that is laying the edge more straight to your face instead of coming down to cut your whiskers, and that will present by reducing the longevity of the blade's life. Now you see it's kind of fading. Well, guess what? There's soap in this brush. It's not that big of a deal. People make way too much of a deal. Actually, they make way too much of a deal out, oh, I didn't get my soap right. I don't mean, like there's a complaint that this soap will fade. Well, if you don't get it right, it will, sure. But it doesn't matter. There are people that will say, well, I didn't get my soap right, the water content in my soap right now. And I had a bad shave. Yeah, that's your fault too. Because you went ahead and tried to shave instead of realizing that, hey, there's soap right there. See, we want everything perfect. When we mess up, instead of acknowledging, hey, I made a mistake, let me correct it, we want to go, well, the soap's not good enough. Or the blade was dull. I can tell you right now, there's a lot of times when we get weepers and cuts and stuff like that, it ain't nothing but our own fault. Is that all the time? No. Sometimes it's a bad soap, sometimes it's a bad blade. But one thing that I could say about that, that I would say about that, and the lather is making it stick. But the one thing that I would say about that is that if there's tens of thousands of people using that soap and they swear by it, and you get a bad shave with it, you did something wrong probably. Probably did. And I think it's important for us to admit when we made the error, at least to ourselves. I don't care if you tell anybody in the shaving community about it. We need to be honest and true with our, see how that, I don't know if you can see it, you see the hair that's stuck to that razor? That's why it wouldn't open. But I mean, we need to be honest with ourselves at least and say, hey, you know, maybe I didn't get enough water in that soap, or maybe I didn't get enough soap in that water. Or maybe my technique wasn't as spot on as it could have been or should have been, and I got a weeper or a cut, you know. And I'm just cleaning my razor. Because if you do that every time, you don't have to worry about the thing. It'll be clean the next time you use it. As far as disinfecting a razor goes, I get asked this all the time. How do I disinfect my razors? Well, if you're rehabbing old razors and stuff like that, you ought to disinfect them. Barbicide works really good for that. Okay, but if it's your razor and you're not passing it out to somebody else, unless it's your wife, then it don't matter. Okay, if you're not passing it out for everybody else to use, those are your germs. You don't need to disinfect that. Rinse it off under water, wipe it off like I did, and put it away. It's good, okay? It's okay. You just use soap on it, okay? I'm going to use Barbicide Brisk. I just decanted it into a glass container. And I know it's a sub $2. Actually, the Brisk I think is about $4 or $5. But it's a cheap aftershave. Why do that? Well, because I like it. That's all I need. And because I shoved a whole bunch of menthol in it. That's lovely. So, but yeah. We really do, hold on, I'm trying to put the stopper back in here. We really do owe it to ourselves at least to be honest about, you know, our shaving and whether or not if we have a bad shave, whose fault is it? 9 times out of 10 it's us. You said, well, I don't have time to go back to the puck or back to the, put more cream on the brush or whatever. It takes literally seconds to do that. And it can be the difference between a really nice shave and a really sucky shave. It's up to you. I'm just trying to kind of encourage you to look at things a little bit deeper and get better shaves, because that's what I want, and I want to see everybody else getting good shaves too. Man, we are in a time at which it's almost the golden age for everything. It's the golden age of wet shaving. It's the golden age of guitar playing. It's the golden age of guitar collecting. It's a golden age of guitars, period. Man, I started on, and I don't want to get too far off on it, but I started on like a K guitar that had strings that were 1.5 inches, 2 inches off the fretboard at the 12th fret. I know some of you don't know what I'm talking about, but that makes it like I could not make the chords up at the neck, up at the nut. The action was so high there that it ended up way high up and down at the nut, okay? And I could not form the chords, and I gave up until someone told me your guitar needs to be set up, okay? Or until I learned, I can't remember what it was, but somewhere or another I came to the understanding that the thing was set up like poo, and I couldn't play it, okay? Nowadays I can spend $100 on an acoustic from musician's friend, a really cheap one, a Rogue or something like that. You can make the thing, if it doesn't come to you already playing really nice, you can make the thing play and sound really awesome in like 20 minutes if you know what you're doing. We are in a golden age of everything. So why shouldn't we try to enjoy shaving as much as we can? Part of that is taking responsibility for it yourself and saying, okay, I've got a problem in the middle of my shave. How do I address that and fix that so I can go on to have a nice shave? It doesn't take very much time usually to take care of any of that. Even if I had to change the blade out in that razor or switch razors, what would it take, 1.5 minutes? And that's, it wouldn't even take that long. But I'm just saying, even if it took like 1.5 minutes, a minute and a half leaving late for work ain't gonna hurt you none. If it is, then you're leaving too late for work to start with, okay? So, I mean, bottom line, I want you to enjoy your shaves and have fun. Bless you and thank you for coming along. I'll talk to you later.